The day is finally here. It's time to grout, finally. And I've actually done one side of the wall already, and I need to do side two. I wanted to do a quick video showing the process. So, got the grout trowel, and make sure you also have a bucket of water to sponge off the excess when you're done. I just cut the recipe in two in order to get the appropriate amounts, and ended up using this entire container, but now it's just time to mix. So got just a standard bucket mixer attached to my electric drill, and we'll get to mixing. Just add water. I'm gonna add that for right now. Start filling. You want to do this in your garage or outdoors because it does pick up quite a bit of dust. I'm going to throw the rest of the water in. That's all there is to it. Just mix it up. The mixing is done. I added a little more water, and you just want it to look like that, kind of the consistency of peanut butter. And then this particular product, we need to wait 10 minutes, mix again, and then we can put it on the backsplash. So that's the next step. See, I've taped everything up and down. Make sure the counter's protected, just nice like that. Be easier for cleanup. So make sure you are protecting your surfaces, or you're just going to have to do more work later. Alright, now it's time to start grouting. What I'm basically going to do, I like working from the top and the bottom and then finishing out the middle. And so what we're going to do is just pack it in as good as we can, try to squeeze it in from all different directions. That way you know you're getting all the grout in the seams and you're not missing anything. And don't be shy with it. I could go in the bottom first. You wonder why you're covering up your beautiful tile with this stuff, but don't worry, it comes off. But don't get it twisted. This is a lot of work. You can see the grouting is done, and got all the way to the window there, and working on cleaning it up now. And you can see how terrible this looks, but after you do some cleaning, it definitely shines back up. So just working on sponging things off, and with this stone, you do have to sometimes scrub a little bit on each individual stone to make sure all the grout's out of it, and been using relatively strong force to get that off, but it seems to be working, so all looks well. All right, time to scrub off all this haze. And I really would recommend getting one of these with this abrasive side. It's super helpful, and it comes off real easy. Let me show you. Just check this piece out, for example. You see, it just takes it right off and shines it up really nicely. So I would recommend that. I'm basically just going to be going over the entire backsplash and getting it all cleaned up. See, it takes it off real easily. For example, your outlet will now butt up against your tile. And in my case, I didn't have tile running here on the bottom, so I made this piece out of wood and just notched it out with a Dremel tool. You can see it got a little burned, but that's totally fine. You could also put washers behind the screw maybe, but I thought this would be best. Certainly the most stable way you can get it to butt right against there. And I believe this was 3/8 inch dowel. So little helpful hint there. Otherwise, this is pretty much done. I just need to scrub the rest of the haze off and then seal it. Then it'll be complete. Right, now it's time to apply the sealer. This stuff is nice because it will seal the stone as well as the grout. So it goes on pretty easy. You just tilt and spray. But make sure you wipe off the excess. What I did on this wall right here was spray it on and then just use a regular towel to just kind of soak up the drips and things like that. It worked out really well. So all you need to do is point and spray. Just make sure you're getting everything covered. Okay, it's finally time to silicone the ledge here. And just for newbies out there, you want to cut your nozzle end at a 45-degree angle. This is about the size of the bead you'll get to depending on how low or high you cut it. There's also another important step you don't want to skip. You actually have to break the inner foil seal of these tubes in order to get the contents to come out. So finding something like a coat hanger, something like that, to stick in the top and actually puncture it is what you're going to need to do. I'm actually using a skewer. It's the closest thing in the kitchen, so we're going to see if that fits. See if we can get that in there. Yep, it does. Okay, punctured and twisted a few times. Okay, pull it out. Now we're good. I have to clean this skewer off, but that's how you get started, and now you can go ahead and lay your bead down. Okay, it's time to lay the bead down. I went ahead and protected the backsplash with some painter's tape. Now, what I'm going to do is run a bead. I'm going to try to get it to the thickness I would like, but also following it with, just get a glass of water and dip your finger in there. And it really makes a nice way to smooth everything out and get the bead consistent. So that's what I'm going to do, and it's definitely going to build up on the tape. And what I'll do is I'll get all that excess off, then remove the tape, and then probably do it again. And I won't have that much buildup, and therefore not as much will get on the stone and the glass. Because this stuff, you can clean it off, but if you don't have to clean it off, all the better. And I like to prevent messes rather than create them and clean them up. So that's going to be what we're doing here. So it's pretty simple. Just start wherever you start. See, we got a nice bead there. And I'll go back in, dip my finger in some water. And that corner's not all that great, but we'll smooth that out. I'll just go along with the finger, and you can see how it's rubbing up on the tape like that. That would be all over our tile. I just don't want to have to bother cleaning that up, especially on the stone pieces. It's just no fun. So we'll build this up and it'll seep under the tile. Also create a seal there. Pull the tape off. And once I pull the tape off, then I'll repeat the process, and I won't have near the amount that will splash up onto the tape. So I think that's kind of an important step, unless you like cleaning silicone off with stone and glass. I don't, so that's what we're going to do. the lip here and clean off with just strips of a paper towel. So now we just remove this. We got a nice clean finish. I like to kind of pull up at an angle. That way you're not ripping it off like that and hurting the seam. But we will go over it again with our finger in water just to smooth it out one last time. And this is looking really good. You can see down here I had a little bit of missing grout. We'll see if I can zoom in. See that area right there? What I'll do is just put a little silicone in there, fix that up. Just like that. Have to clean that up, but that's okay. All right, just gonna go ahead and clean this up and repeat the process on the rest of the wall. And after that, this is done. At last, it is finished. It took a total of 8 days to do this, and that is because I couldn't do it all at once. It would have been pretty impossible, to be honest, for a first timer. Plus, I really didn't have a lot of help. But if you got 2 people, I think you could knock this out in a weekend or something like that. But it is finished, and I'm glad I did it. Now that you can look back and tell such a big difference, it makes a very dramatic difference on the kitchen, and I'm happy to have done it. And you know, I would just stress though, it is more work than it looks. Until you've done this, you just don't know how much work it is, but it is a lot, and doing it the right way takes patience and it takes time. So just keep that in mind when you start off to do this. Don't think that you're gonna knock this out in a day or even the weekend. It might take you a little bit longer like it took me, especially if you've got a job and kids and all that good stuff. But that is it. I'm glad it's done, and yeah, I don't ever have to do this again as far as I know. So anyway, good luck with your projects, and yeah, have a good one.